These are the misty, verdant landscapes of Imphal in northeastern India. For Dr. Anupam Nagar, this quiet terrain was more than a home. It was the starting point for a lifelong pursuit of knowledge. His parents were both esteemed educators who defined success through the lens of traditional academia. In the Nagar household, life was shaped by textbooks, lectures, and the steady accumulation of information. This environment produced a sharp, capable mind, but even the best academic systems often leave a specific void. They provide the how of navigating the world, while the why of existence remains largely unaddressed. When education is limited to the intellect, it builds a structure of facts, but it leaves the questions of character and moral purpose for a later date. In 1982, a chance suggestion from a commanding officer in the CRPF prompted the family to travel across India to Bangalore. It was there that a ninth-grade Anupam experienced his first darshan, witnessing spiritual leader Sai Baba from a distance. He returned to the hills of Manipur with a new internal compass. The familiar peaks hadn't changed, but his focus was shifting from local ambitions toward a distant spiritual horizon. This pivot marked the moment where the drive for a conventional career was replaced by a curiosity about character. Within 3 years, he would arrive at the gates of the Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. In 1985, he entered the hallowed precincts of Prasanthi Nilayam. This time, he wasn't there as a visitor, but as a seeker enrolled in a rigorous program of self-discovery. The education here followed a specific thesis. Transformation, not information, is the goal. On the left, we see the standard model, a vertical stack of data. On the right is the Institute's objective, a dense, stable core that glows from within. Through deep immersion in spiritual literature, this external data was absorbed and converted into a steady inner fortress. The routine of the ashram began to overwrite conventional anxieties. The typical pressures of youth were replaced by a quiet, focused resilience. This sanctuary served as a forge where faith and character were actively tempered to prepare the students for the world waiting outside the gates. This training was punctuated by moments of intense personal connection. In 1988, Anupam and his father were summoned for a private interview, a meeting that bridged the gap between the student and the master. These lessons also happened in the most mundane settings, such as the afternoon Swami unexpectedly arrived at the sports field just to watch the students play a game of football. Look at the proximity here. These moments of shared joy reinforced that the spiritual presence they studied was personal and constantly present. For Anupam, these encounters were the emotional sealant for his education. They moved the teachings from the pages of a book into the realm of personal conviction before he returned to the secular world. The transition to the real world came in Gujarat, where Dr. Nagar became an educator himself at Jasani College, a setting that was far removed from the peace of the ashram. He immediately applied the values he had been taught, insisting on academic integrity and moral accountability in a system that had grown accustomed to the opposite. This caused immediate friction. The entrenched interests within the college violently rejected the sudden demand for moral transformation. Spiritual education remains a theory as long as it stays within a sanctuary. Its true utility is only discovered when it is challenged by the resistance of a difficult reality. That challenge arrived at 1:15 in the afternoon. Dr. Nagar was ambushed by 12 students wielding crowbars and brickbats in a brutal daylight assault that lasted 5 agonizing minutes. He was rushed to the hospital with 3 fractures in his right arm, hairline fractures in his ribs and leg, and blood clots throughout his body. Yet, as he lay in the ward, he felt something unexpected. Despite the physical damage, there was no sense of spiritual defeat or fear. In the silence of the hospital, he realized that the years of preparation in the sanctuary had been for this exact moment of pressure. The internal fortress held. The human body is subject to physical limits, but his mind remained steady. He had found a part of himself that was inaccessible to the violence of the world. The strength of his education wasn't found in a shield that deflected the blows,
but in the spiritual resilience that allowed him to stand back up.